Sower, with only one caster, sorry, even slightly willing to lean towards tie.
Exactly. So, Sowa seems to be the big favorites. However, those guys here, the Sunny Lions, they're here to make a statement. And do you see what I see, Tetcher? Look at C. He's an old familiar player, formerly known as Butcher, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you might be right. Also, Feed BD, Phoebe D, I think might be a familiar face. I might be mistaken. Either way, I think you might be right that
yeah,
C
I think that's
is
Butcher. Yeah, he used to be known as Butcher. Obviously, he changed his nickname
from KT.
From KT, but since that is the team who took down KT, maybe Butcher was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to join those guys because jump ship, leave.
We're going down, please. I'll join your crew. But we do see the Sunny Lion here. They also had a match. Yesterday or earlier today, I believe it is. The format is some of the games are played off stream. Their first match they played in this tournament was against Beyond the Game, aka the third Chinese team along with CE and SBT that went to BlizzCon and the Gold Club World Championship. And they did lose 2-0 to BTG, but once again, that's our number 3 team in the league.
Yeah.
So Sunny Lion, they now have a potentially more overcomable obstacle in the form of Sower to really show us what they can do.
Well, not according to our Chinese experts, though. With the exception of one, everybody was rooting towards that team. And once again, sticking true to their tradition here, Soa swapped out a couple of players. However, there are some familiar faces, most notably Fei Yi here on the very left, joined by Uncle G, a legend in the HGC China League. He's one of the most adorable and most flexible players we have. He's rightfully named key player here. And Tetra, you can tell us more about that guy.
He has role swapped several times, as you can see here. He sometimes plays the support. In the past, he's played the Zarya. In this game, we see him on the ranged assassin, the Falstad. He has played so many roles throughout Heroes of the Storm, but he's always been, in some form or another, usually the captain or just a successful player in general. There is a big reason we get a lot of people behind him.
Exactly. Without a doubt, one of the most popular players in the league. And what can he do? As Tetra correctly said, he is, you know, flex player and team captain / manager all in one. Whereas other teams like SBT or CE, they have their own managers, you know, trying to take care of all things that are going on around the players. He's basically doing it all. He's like the good uncle of the entire team, taking care of all of his nephews, you know?
Quite literally the Uncle G. There is a player we didn't mention there quite quickly, and that is Molly. Very solid assassin player. Has proven to be one of our more aggressive assassin players in the league along with Loktar. So I'll be excited to see if he's carried that over from last season as we look at our first map.
And speaking of players like Molly for Soa, those were, or he among many others was pretty much narrowed down to the Vala, because Vala was so strong last phase. Every team had their dedicated Vala player. She was picked or banned in almost every game. Now that she's kind of fallen out of favor for most teams, players are going to have to, you know, switch things up, and they have to come out with different heroes. And I can't wait to see what Molly's new baby boy or baby girl is going to be.
Indeedy. As we just saw there, Sunny Lion, they did pick this map, Infernal Shrines, but we also saw right at the start there, as we showed the stats, this is one of the maps they played on earlier in their first rotation against BTG, and they lost. Currently 0-1 on this map, whereas Sower yet to play on it.
Yep, definitely true. Definitely true. And we see, you know, old familiar faces here coming out for that draft. Hanzo, we don't want to have that guy in here. And ETC, who, without a doubt, has been the most impactful warrior in competitive HGC in 2018 up to this point, across all regions. Like, if you take a look at ETC, his win rate and success rate is just through the roof right now.
I don't know, I didn't see all of NA yesterday because I had to sleep and it runs very late for me in terms of time zone. But I remember Caldor tweeted yesterday, before the NA games, that currently ETC had like 100% win rate. So I don't know if that's still the case.
I'm not sure if it was just...
every single game and had a 100% win rate throughout them all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was just EU or if it was across all regions, but that would be pretty nuts.
I thought it was just NA. I don't think.
Oh, it was just NA? There we go.
I think so. I will find that tweet.
Like, no matter how you put it, ETC remains one of the top priority warriors. Funnily enough, he wasn't really prioritized so hard in the previous set, right? With both time flow and...
At all.
Exactly, he wasn't picked at all. So the trend is going to continue, but at least he's being respected as a ban right now. Now, the Sonya being a first pick, no Genji, no Gul'dan, no Greymane, but Sower relies on everyone's favorite Barbarian.
So if you guys do like the tweeting of stats from HGC, I would definitely recommend following Carter on Twitter. As the tweet says, with Simplicity winning the 3rd game versus SSG on Sky Temple, ETC is now at 8 wins and 0 losses. A 100% win ratio while also being involved in 100% of HGC North America games.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not going as far and say that NA is going to be the global trendsetters, but they definitely have a point, and it's strong evidence to really highlight the power level of cow. Exactly. Cow's good. You know, cow's good. Beef's good for you in real life, at least to everyone who's not vegan.
Some countries, cows are holy. Situation of
they're so good for
in general. You know, everyone just loves cows.
Exactly. Tell me a single person who doesn't like cow.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone likes cow. It's even great in bell form. I'm going to go stop that before that starts. So we have Greymane and Uther starting off for Sunnyline, and Stukov. He was banned out in the last series, making his first appearance, along with a Nubarak first appearance as well.
Okay, this I like a lot already by Team Sower. I mean, they have a really solid, very engagey frontline now with the Nubarak and the Sonya, lots of stunning potential, and Stukov in general, I think, is easily one of the highest impact supports that we have in the game right now. The amount of utility he brings to a team fight, strong disengage, strong silence that can be used both defensively and offensively, and then of course low mana cost, which makes him a great hero in lane, and AoE healing that can be manually triggered. He's just so versatile and so good. I love it.
However, with all this crowd control, we might see the return of a very nice talent in the form of Guardian of the Ancient King.
You know what?
On the Uther.
You know what? I don't hate it. And I actually, I remember when we talked to Bakery at the Nexus Games Europe 2017, we actually had a long discussion about Uther and his level 7 talents, and Bakery was a strong defender of Guardian of the Ancient Kings. He said that the talent is still very, very powerful, especially if you have easy-to-time crowd control effects on the enemy side, and I think a Nubarak is pretty predictable in terms of who he's going to stun.
Very true, especially his tunnel, especially his burrow charge. You do see it coming. It's not the fastest of abilities, it just has a very wide exit point. If you take that upgraded talent on level 7, I think.
Which one? Sorry?
The extra AoE from when you pop up, the extra stun radius.
Yes, that is 16. The epicenter.
16, yeah, the extra range and cooldown is what I might... Damage and cooldown, I think, is what I'm...
Yeah, damage is level 4, the Under King, then you get the shield at level 7.
Okay, yeah.
It's a lot of utility.
Mixed up.
Exactly. No worries, man. I got you.
Now, just blind pick it usually, just like burrow, not the blue one, but burrow. As we do see Dehaka and Muradin, lots of firsts in this series. A double tank setup coming in.
Yeah, very nice. And Dehaka is a hero that has always been there and probably will always remain there in competitive for a long time to come because of his utility, the globals most importantly. Infernal Shrines is a very good map for him in the first place. Oftentimes you will see teams abandon Shrines only to let Dehaka do his thing, you know, split soak and split push a little bit. Muradin to the side here is really nice too because Muradin so far without any tank shredding is probably not going to fall very easily, and if you take a look at Team Sower now, there's not a whole lot of tank shredding available, but of course they have yet to pick their assassins. But Greymane, you know, Curse Bullet already secured for Sunnyline. I think that Muradin could actually be very, very safe.
It could be very safe indeed. We've seen a slight resurgence actually in some of the regions in the form of Tychus. So a resurgence for him, especially with the very CC heavy front line, could be what we see here. We see Ariel and Valor. Valor with the option of Manticore without deviating too far from the majority of her normal builds. So this should work out reasonably well. But an Ariel with it, another double support coming in.
So, Teacher, I can't recall the last time I've seen Stukov and Oriel in the same team, so this is once again a little bit experimental. Typically Chinese draft, if you will, and it seems like China, as one of the few regions, still sticks to the old guns, to the familiar weapons they are used to play. Double support no matter what, it seems, but this time they have Vala as the classic hypercarry. Now, I wonder if Sunny Lion is going to adapt to this style and pick double support themselves as well with the Greymane, or if they want to overpower this protection comp with just, you know, sheer force. Genji's no longer here, though. However, there could be a Malthael in the mix. Maybe Malthael, Uther, anti-healing coming in from Touch of Death at level 7, but then their team compositions would be very melee-heavy.
That's true. Instead, we see Jada coming in. Lots of firsts in this game. First Ariel, first Anub, first Stukov, first Dehaka, first Muradin, and first Jada, at least in HGC China. Cool. We were talking about mages earlier on. We're going to have to see how well these crystal aegises can come down from the Ariel, because that could be key if Jada is able to land her full combo.
Yeah, definitely true. There's going to be a lot of weight on those support's shoulders here on the side of Sower. They need the Crystal Aegis to be on point. They need to have the Flailing Swipe available if need be to basically prevent the follow-up damage onto the Jaina Burst. So the supports are going to be under a lot of stress here. But overall, I gotta say, Jaina is a very interesting hero here. We have players like Mene who are making a strong stand for the Jaina. He was actually going on Twitter and saying that NA and other regions should respect the Jaina a little bit more. Yeah. Whether or not that was a little bit sarcastic remains to be seen, but I know that Mene actually likes the Jaina. He genuinely likes it, so I wonder what he's going to think about this draft.
We will definitely have to ask him at some point, but for now, it's going to be up to Sunny Lion to try and prove the Jaina to us against our wonderful HGC China alumni in the form of Sower. So, overall, these two drafts, the old-fashioned, I would argue, very similar to what we saw, RPG versus Time Flow. A bit more old-fashioned coming in from Sower, whereas Sunny Lion throwing in a little bit of the new style, a little bit of a EUNA career influence there.
Exactly, and Sunny Lion is a team we have no evidence on, guys. It's just as new and fresh for us to see those guys as it is for you, because we weren't able to watch the first game that took place a little bit earlier off stream, but we're going to see them for the very first time here today. They took down KT, a pretty solid team from last phase in the Crucible, 3-2, and nobody really expected Sunny Lion to make it, since they were so annoying. But with players like Butcher, who's now known as C, in the mix, maybe they have enough experience to actually make a strong stand here in HGC China 2018.
Let us find out as we are preparing to head in to game number 1 of this 2-game series. We're starting off on Infernal Shrines. And Kendrick, would you like to introduce our newcomers?
With pleasure. On the left-hand side, we see in the blues the team known as Sunny Lion here, with Pao on that Uther. Jaina plays Jaina.
Yay!
Hey! Feetby goes on the Greymane. C, formerly known as Butcher, is on the Muradin, and Eustia on that Dehaka.
And on the right-hand side, it is going to be Start Over Again or Sower, with Faye playing on that Sonya, Uncle G on Ariel, TY on the Stukov. We have ooh, that's a name and a half.
We're just going to call him Klong.
I think it is Klong coming in on that Anubarak, and Molly is playing on the Valor.
Oh boy, and we talked about Molly being a Vala one-trick, you know, a Vala main.
A little bit, yeah.
Just seems to be the case in 2018, up to this point, at least. Now, I can't believe the Jaina player is actually called Jaina. Like,
I mean, it was written in the stars, but then again, we have had a player called Butcher. That's stun lock. Very good, but not enough to finish off Uncle G this time. Exactly. But yeah, we had a player called Butcher who basically made Stitches last season, so it is interesting to see the difference. And also, I am positive that Phoebe D is a name specifically made to troll English speakers.
I think the names have gotten a little bit better, though. I would say more English-friendly, because if you think back to last phase, we had a couple of, like, nicknames that consisted only of 2 or 3 letters, like MJ, 365, etc., etc.
Yeah, true.
So,
oh, 365.
Yeah, 365 is still in the league. Is MJ still here?
Wait, yeah, don't forget MJ is. We have he. still.
Yeah, he's still here, yeah.
We'll talk about those when we get to them. For now, Justia getting pushed in a little bit. We have Sonya, who's already good in the solo lane, and she's been left up in top lane with a friend.
They're very true. So, as you said, Tetra, there's a lot of damage potential available for Sunny Lion, but you know what else they have and brought to the table? I think it's a lot of CC. Like, if those stun chains provided by Muradin, Uther, and maybe a sticky licky tongue by Dehaka, if those are on point, I can't really see anyone making it out alive, especially if it's one of the supports on Sower. Speaking of supports getting focused, Uncle Chief falls, and first blood for Sunny Lion.
Message sent by Sunny Lion.
Oh, hell yeah.
Stunlock with the follow-up damage, able to kill off Uncle G, the team captain, straight away. Ariel definitely wanted the squishier, easier to kill targets on the side of Sower.
Yeah, especially in the early game, which he doesn't have the Crystal Agents available. Definitely a target you want to focus on. In the meantime, C going in, misses the stun,
trying again.
Still solid damage.
So we see Justia once again having issues in the 2v1 lane, but his tower's only just falling, so it's not the worst scenario. Finally, we see Jaina on the Jaina coming up to help here as they will get pushed back as they begin working on that fallen Shaman.
Yeah, actually, that death by Uncle G paid of dividends here. While he was taken down and eliminated, oh yeah, there is no way out for the Swanee here. But back to the point I was trying to make, like, with so much attention being put onto killing him, Sower could actually take the Bruiser camp and destroy 2 towers on the top lane, and that really reflects itself in the overall XP count here. Almost an entire level lead for Sower, despite losing team members early on. It looks like we're going to have another pause here. But the good thing is, guys, pauses in HGC China are usually very short because we have a beautiful land environment, so admins are right there. They can potentially fix any issues, so don't worry about it.
Exactly. On-site repair, which is absolutely marvelous if anything does go wrong. But we did see a nice little turnaround there. Already the first blood, as we said before, going over to Sunny Lion, but Sower responding to the overextend and over-pushing potential that we had in the top lane. And they were able to... Sunny Lion were responded up there, and they actually picked up the kill onto Sonya.
Very true, very true. And now, hopefully, we're not bringing Murphy's Law, aka Cast Occurs, and this is going to be a longer break. But we should be back relatively soon. Yeah.
While we are in this little pause, we will give you a quick talk about what to expect from HGC China. As we've said before, but for those who are just joining us, this is a 2-game series format, very similar to what we saw at Mid-Season Brawl or at the Gold Club World Championship. aka, if you score 2 wins over your opponent, you get a full 3 points. If you get a 1-1, a tie, both teams get 1 point. If you get 0 wins, you get nothing.
Exactly, and as Tetra mentioned, this adds a lot of spice to HGC China. It's a very refreshing format. Actually, very much favored by a lot of players as well, because it's shorter series, but you have more games in total. But the series themselves are going to be less stressful. If you've ever played 5 games or 7 games of Heroes of the Storm straight in Hero League, you will know how tiring it can be.
Indeed, so the teams get to stay quite fresh, as we do see both teams moving on to the objective. Slight advantage for Sunny Lion, who did start a little bit earlier. Justia coming in from behind, stun onto the Anubarak, who gets taken out. The 3-man silence from Stukov is good, but it's not enough to really earn them anything else, as we once again see the 4-man move in. Uther following up a little bit late here, but will drop the healing his team needs.
Yeah, now look at the health bars though. Sower is still very healthy due to the fact that they have 2 supports, and they refuse to back down, although it's a 4 versus 5 situation. Fei can tank the front line a little bit more. Muradin is a little bit low, so is Feed B, and here goes Sonya!
The stun lock so high, Sonya gets taken out here. And
they're not letting go, though.
The objective go over to Sower, even though they lost 2 members, now 3.
Molly.
They still went in the silence. AoE, so good.
They're so
but
low.
Not enough to get the kill.
Yeah, everyone on Team Sunny Lion is so low, but they managed to brute force their way in. And with the help of the big Punisher there, they're definitely going to siege up. Very nicely done, but also kudos to Sower. I mean, they did lose a couple of team members here, but they really made a good call, in my opinion, when they continued to fight, because everybody was rather low on Sunny Lion. It was just that they were a little bit too late when it comes to making those decisions on when to back off.
Yes, they are. But for now, we do see Sunny Lion taking the early lead, but Sower far from out of it. And I'm really, really enjoying how well these silences have been going for Sower, at least for the start.
Yeah, also, if you take a look at Molly's Vala build here, by the way, it's a little bit, you know, off standard because we're mostly used to seeing the infamous Era build. He goes back to an old friend of ours, the multi-shock build, which basically gives him more damage the more hatred stacks Vala has. And given the fact that you need a fair amount of wave clear in those shrines, I don't think it's a bad choice.
Yeah, it's actually what we've seen in the first series as well.
Very
so
true.
Nice to see that this appears to be some kind of China standard. Molly gets dragged though, staying alive, but the zoning blizzard and the CC. Nice dwarf toss from C, body blocking tie, and Sunny Lion picking up kill after kill.
Now, I gotta say that the Sunny Lion team is ruthless when it comes to abusing the weaknesses of Sower, and for the most part, those weaknesses were positioning. You can't allow a Vala player to stand in front of both warriors, even when the Stuk of Silence goes down and, you know, basically baits you in that false sense of security. Because just because there's a silence doesn't mean that the enemy team is automatically going to run away. And that's exactly what Sunny Lion did. They jumped on the Stukov, they interrupted the silence, and they capitalized on the mispositioning by Sower. Beautiful focus fire. And I gotta say, Tetra, those rookie teams, man, they're putting on a clinic.
They really are. This is really exciting. I haven't been this excited since we saw BTG in the 1 for the first time. And we, once again, two teams that are currently in the league. We will see them play later today. Also, Water Elemental coming in for Jada as her heroic ability.
Now, this is a tricky one. If you go for the standard Ring of Frost route, sure, that offers a lot of AoE damage, a lot of zoning. However, against a double support, it may not do enough damage. However, the Water Elemental, while it may not be the greatest team fighting tool, can slow down a target consistently. It can bully a target to the point where they have to use abilities early on to save themselves, or where Greymane or Murden can, or even a Dehaka can just follow up with stuns and damage so nicely. You know what? I'm actually going to give it a shot. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how well they utilize it. Like, it could work, like you
said. It
could
work. It's a big could, but it could work.
It is very much an execution thing, but then again, so is Ring of Frost, so let's trust them for now. As we do see the next objective preparing to spawn, both teams trading a fort for a fort, but the Sunny Lion push is a little bit more threatening because they were able to steal away that Fallen Shaman camp.
Yeah, and don't forget about the power spike coming in from for Sower now that they've had level 10 abilities at the ready. Now they're going to have Crystal Ages. They're going to have Cocoon to take down maybe even the support on the side of Sunny Lion. And most importantly, they have the Flailing Swipe. So a lot of additional disengage, a lot of additional protection coming in. And I think this is where the game really starts now for Team Sower.
Very much so. We are seeing them move towards the objective, but already a slight lead in favor of Sunny Lion. And they're going to potentially try and race themselves towards their level 13 here with that Dehaka in the top lane. They're moving in. Anubarak with the aggressive blind, or pretty much burrow. And the silence is cancelled. They're going to try and race down. Dehaka tunneling in. Play is about to be made by Sunny Lion.
Here he goes.
Off to see Dehaka. Silence onto Ariel. The flailing swipe, though, keeping her alive. She gets dragged in. Round 2. Crystal Aegis keeping her alive. Ariel is invincible as we see Greymane taken out. Z is in full retreat, and Sower take control of the point.
And this is exactly what we mentioned here. Once those heroic abilities are online for Team Sower, this is where things are going to get real and serious. And they played that really, really well. The Flailing Swipe, most importantly, so on point. Molly, much better positioning in that team fight this time around. Also, I got to give major kudos for how well they treated and dealt with the flank by the Dehaka. It is a little bit questionable whether it was the right time for engage for Sunny Lion, because 13 was so close. Look at that. All they had to do was soak one additional minion wave, maybe two, and they would have had a big boon, a big advantage in that team fight.
Yeah, it might have been the wrong choice, but either way, it's the opportunity that Sower needed to try and get some advantage here. They already took out the fort in this lane. Very good by them as well, picking that lane to split push. And now, with the Punisher still at half health, they're going to try and make a 9-minute play for a keep. Good cleanse, good hand of protection coming into the Luther there.
Exactly. Divine Shield is still on cooldown, but the cleanse is a formidable tool when it comes to keeping players safe and sound. Now 13 available for both teams, but the keep is about to fall here. Sower, big move here. Now they need to just make sure they do not get caught. They need to peel for the backline and run away. Yusia has a word to say about it.
They're hovering around the area, still staying here. I think we are quite out of sync here, just so you know.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit ahead, but it was like a second or two.
Yeah, I'm still on 8.
Let me just quickly double check.
I want to quickly do a refresh now that the teams appear to be not fighting, at least for now.
Let's see. I'm currently sitting at 10 seconds. I'm just going to quickly refresh here.
Yeah, once again, guys, we are doing this from a clean feed, so
exactly.
This is what we sometimes have to do this.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 6 seconds now, if that works for you.
Okay, I see if I can refresh up to 6.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a little bit behind, and if Tetra is commentating a team fight by play-by-play, then of course it's a little bit, it's a little bit iffy if he knows what's going to happen in a couple of seconds before you guys actually see it.
What do you mean? I'm just psychic. I appear to be stuck on 8.
Can you use the power of your new internet to get to 6? If not,
I'm going to try and go to source, because obviously it's going to be faster if it's not downscaled.
Right. In the meantime, we see...
I'm on 5, as we do see the silence. This time, Ariel is taken down.
Yeah, Ariel did not make it in time. Once again, I gotta say, like, those Dahaka engages are starting to get better and better by the minute. The isolation here was beautiful. The silence, basically, Sower had to taste their own medicine here.
Yeah.
Know what it feels like to get silenced.
Exactly, you can see Aegis is still up. They were able to kill Ariel the entire time she was in crowd control. Never even got the chance.
Exactly, and I think that's exactly how you need to take a team fight here when you're Sunny Lion. Like, you need to disable one of the 2 supports so that this support can no longer take care of protecting the other one. Now, I just had a mini freeze. Did you have one too?
I'm still on 6.
Okay, let me just double check. We can easily fix that. I'm down to 8 now, so maybe you can sync it up. Sorry, man. Not doing it on purpose, man.
Yeah, I'm just going to try a quality swap, see what happens. 7, close enough.
That'll suffice for now.
Yes, the joy of clean feed cast, as we see C pulling back for the moment. Faye moving in. I'm just having it to cast at all. As we see Faye clearing out the lane with the help of his teammates, but C, look at this, hovering around the area. Might want to try and make a play, but not so sure about the angle.
Here we go. Klong, in the meantime, trying to hold the front line. 16 is so close for the Lions. Can they actually get it and make it happen? Make a team fight happen in time here. Keep in mind that we've seen Yusia on that Dahaka making a couple of good flanks and engages happen. This is definitely the time for Sower to be on their tippy toes, because they need to pay special attention to every bush possible, but they're doing the exact opposite. They're the ones engaging 15 into 16. What is going on?
The whiffed storm bolts. They thought it was an opportunity. Aegis pops Dahaka looking for the angle. There's the cocoon onto Uther, so no divine shield. But this couple because they immediately try to move on to Yusia here. But Pow is now out. Drops in.
Silence!
So good though. Stukov holding the line. Jada trying to get the flag and gets absolutely punished. He delays with the ice block though.
In the meantime, we see a lot of damage coming in from Greymane. Go for the throw, takes down 1, 2. In the meantime, Phoebe is now getting focus as well. Uther keeps him alive for now, though. Uncle G trying to keep everybody safe and sound as well. And it looks like Sower is actually taking the advantage despite recklessly engaging 15 into 16. I can't believe.
I can't believe either. They hold it together. They took the timing that the Stormbolt whiff from Muradin gave them.
Wow.
And they were able to make it work to their advantage. Again, a beautiful opportunity. It was a combination of one ability cooldown being down and a wonderful choke point for Stukov to drop that silence in. We're actually going to get to see a bit of that again. Stukov pulls back, realizes, look at this.
Oh, the value.
Silence. Uther's just popped out, is able to drop the Divine Shield, but Jada, she's so isolated. Uther really can't do anything, and she will eventually go down.
Yeah, Uther had basically had to make a decision there. Do I keep Greymane alive or do I keep Jaina alive? And I think Greymane is more likely going to get value in a team fight even when he's low HP compared to a Jaina. So I think he made the right call, but in the end it was just too much of an onslaught by Sower for Sunny Lion to handle. And as you said, that 3-man silence followed up by the beautiful bird charge on a Nubrak, which actually applies a slow afterwards. It was just so hard for Sunny Lion to get out to safety out of that silence in time.
Wonderful hand of protection, stopping at C, getting really killed, and a flaming swipe, keeping everyone safe as well as the assault continues. Klong attacking the keep. Sonya finally spearing in the stun onto Dahaka, but the essence, a very large amount of it still available. So Dahaka is able to stay alive. The keep, however, shall not. The second keep of the game will go over to Sower here. There's the cocoon. They want to try and make the play here, but with Muradin jumping out, they have no one to engage on, and they're going to back up.
Oh my goodness, 15 minutes into the game and already 2 keeps down against Sunny Lion, this is a rough spot to come back from. However, it is possible. One late game fight that goes very well in favor of Sunny Lion, and they're back in the mix here because most of the forts have already fallen. And this is exactly what they need to do. Crystal Aegis comes down to save Anubarak.
As he gets the stun knock-up onto Dahaka, not the only target able to get. Beautiful isolation with the follow-up damage from Feepd.
He gets another one!
Faye looking for the kill, but he's so much sustained. See, he's in the backline, harassing all the backlines. Uncle G gets killed by the Jaina. The machine gun Jaina build dropping the damage. She's surrounded, but Molly, you're not trapped in this area with Jaina. They're able to pick up the kill.
Thatcher, this is exactly what we talked about. This was a beautiful fight for Sunny Lion, but look at the core. 2 catapults hammering against those shields, and they actually bring down the core to 76. Are they going to get more auto attacks in? Looks like no. Dahaka stopped them for now. But you know what? Trading a little bit of core health wasn't actually the worst thing to get for Sower. Now, they gave their opponents a lot of experience to come back from. However, a little bit of core damage could be nice for future Punisher attacks. However, kudos to Sunny Lion. They really, really use that Jaina very well. And if you go for that, can you elaborate more on that machine gun Jaina build, by the way?
Machine gun Jaina build. Very old-fashioned here, where you go for the full Frostbolt build, and it gives you a lot of cooldown reduction on the Frostbolt already. It pierces, you can spam it, and that's the idea. You pick your targets, try and hit as many as possible, but specifically usually aiming for one person. Combine that with the Icy Veins talent that you get at level 13, and you have insane cooldown reduction on your Q, which is already a low cooldown. So you're just spamming it out during the team fights, and that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, exactly. It turns Jaina from, you know, a rather bursty kind of assassin into a hybrid between, you know, a little bit of burst and a little bit of sustained damage, because it almost works like an empowered auto attack every single time you drop a Frostbolt that can actually pierce targets too, hitting up to 2 enemies in a row. Combine that with the water elemental and you add even more sustained damage, and so far it really works well with what Sunny Lion has to offer overall. And I gotta give a lot of credit to Sunny Lion. After losing a couple of team fights in a row, they managed to hold and you know, get a lot of experience back. But those 2 keeps are still going to be a big deficit they need to come back from.
Yeah, it's pretty much up to Dahaka here to keep on top of them, rotating between the lanes. And so far he's been doing a good job. He did take Contagion as opposed to maybe the Burrow cooldown, which would have really allowed him to rotate very effectively. Instead, he's very much relying on his movement speed, which I believe he has completed the quest for.
Yeah, and Contagion, in my opinion, is exactly what you need. It's the exact tool Sunny Lion can use in future team fights, because if, let's say, Dahaka gets a really good engage in, and UCS so far has been doing exactly that, and he hits both supports of Sower with 1 isolation, basically, there's nothing they can do. And then it's time for Jaina and Grayman to shine, to collapse on a target, on a helpless target. So the tools are there for Sunny Lion. They just need to use it. And you know what? That Frost Punisher is definitely going to help him out in this regard.
It is. Frost Punisher. Combine that with the fact that Jaina took the root at level 16, so even more potential crowd control. Add the Winter Mute.
The Mimic,
that.
yeah.
The mimicking Water Elemental here. This could be a scary push. One missed position from Sower could result in the kind of blow-up that they're looking for, that SL are looking for.
You know, talk about Machine Gun Jaina and add to that a Machine Gun Water Elemental. Hell yeah.
Combine them all together. And even if they do lose at least Uther, he will be able to revive. He went for the redemption. As we see him moving in. Dahaka's the only one not here. Punisher over the wall. Stun onto Stukov is nice. They're being very slow with the push, though. They know they're 4v5, and Dahaka will take a second or 2 to join them.
Yeah, Dahaka needs to buy as much time as possible to keep the keepless lanes safe, so that they don't fall victim to another minion backdoor. And keep in mind that Yusia doesn't really have a bush nearby that he can brush talk to. So I like the play by Sunny Lion here, going for a rather slow and patient approach, and they're now trying to set up an ambush. But you saw the pings go down from Sower. They know exactly what's going to happen. You cannot fool an experienced team like that easily.
Exactly. They drop the stun, and they are able to scout it out very easily. So Ustia, he was thinking about joining. He actually hid himself from vision for a little bit there to make them believe he was doing mercs or something, but there are no more mercs available, as Sunny Lion just took the only ones on the map, very much giving away their position.
All right.
Still not missed. Water Elemental's popped.
Yeah, I mean, Water Elemental isn't the longest of cooldowns, but it's still, you know, it's still not nice when it happens, because it tells your team, okay, we're now going to have to wait 50 more seconds, and guess what? Time is not an ally on the side of Sunny Lion. Time is actually favoring Sower here, simply due to the fact that they will have double catapult pressure all the time. Luckily for Sunny Lion, though, they have a global hero. They have Dehaka, who can deal so well, much better than almost any other hero with that pressure.
Indeed he can. He has incredible wave clear capabilities and, of course, like we said, can join his team whenever he is needed to. So that's always useful to see. On the other side, though, level 20 talents, we see Controlled Chaos, the Farflight Quiver coming in from Valor. Will keep her a lot safer. And speaking of keeping safe, Shield of Hope. And can you blame Uncle G? He has been really the target of all of Sunny Lion's engages at this point.
Exactly. You definitely need every ounce of protection you can muster against that Jaina Greymane pressure, and especially against a potential save after a Contagion goes down. Contagion...
2 talents anyway.
Yeah. And I think Contagion has been such a playmaker in many competitive games that we've seen. I think we all remember Wooby, for example, and how many games he decided at various tournaments with Dehaka. It's just such a hero that is oftentimes overlooked in casual play, but in competitive, he's such a staple.
Completely agree. As Justia, once again, clearing up catapults, left to clear the lane on his own while his team does the mercs.
And I really like the patient approach by Sower as well. It's a little bit atypical to the standard brawling. Okay.
Yeah, very patient raids enemy merc camp. Right up until this point, as we do see Sower trying to zone. We have a Nubarak taking a lot of damage.
Nice done.
They give up on the mercs. They decide against it. Too risky.
Yeah, and we can really see how, as time goes by, Chinese teams have improved in so many aspects, and especially, we talked about this at the end of Phase 2 as well, especially in terms of macro play and map awareness. Like, previously, you would see Chinese teams oftentimes go straight for the shortest route towards enemy base or enemy team and just brawl 24/7. However, now in 2018, even rookie teams like Sunny Lions, they're so well aware of the map, and they really seem to just, you know, always be one step ahead and try to anticipate what their opponents are up to.
Definitely keeping it together. A noob does get the stun onto Muradin, but Muradin too tanky. Both teams just trading blows. Water Elemental is popped. This is the side of the engagement. Sonya into the backline, though. Very nice. Controlled Chaos. Dehaka did get the Contagion. Down goes Clock. The first hit here. Jaina in the Cocoon. Cocoon will get popped as C is holding the line. Good drag. Controlled Chaos. And the Aegis to try and give Molly the chance to escape. The focus is huge. They're healing output. Trying to keep it alive, but the silence wasn't enough. Sonya goes down in the backline. The Stormbolt misses, so Uncle G will actually survive, at least for now. But Sunny Lion dominate the fight. 3 kills to 0.
Yeah, style points for Jaina on the Jaina. It is literally Lady Jaina playing the hero herself right now. And she basically did it all in that team fight. The beautiful timing with a Blizzard after the Crystal Aegis was expiring. Then we had the Water Elemental lockdown on a Nubarak. A Nubarak is pretty tanky when it comes to dealing with ability damage. But Jaina, you know what? It's so much burst damage, even a Nubarak struggles. Now, they take down the bottom keep. They still have Dehaka available to deal with the middle lane, which is currently pressuring the core. No way, are they going for it?
Nice Tainment Strike. The supports
I think they're going for it, now or never.
A noob will be back soon. Controlled Chaos. They're just delaying right now, trying to hold it together, but the core is dropping, Kendrick.
I think they're doing it. The Water Elemental did do a lot of damage and tanking as well. Still so many members alive for Team Sower. 10%, and I think Sunny Lion takes the victory in game number 1 in spectacular fashion. Clapping and applauding here, rightfully so.
Out of nowhere, Sunny Lion bring it back. It took one bad fight for Sower to go down, and Sunny Lion take game number 1. Jaina on that. Jaina, like you said, really solid in that last fight. Dehaka with the distraction. Uther with the really solid stun onto Sonya, who could have absolutely turned that fight from the backline.
Definitely true, and you've gotta admire the spot-on shot calling by Team Sunny Lion here as well. It was basically all in or nothing at this point. They realized, you know what? 15, 20, 25 seconds on the death timers here against Sower was enough for them to take down the core. The Water Elemental dealing a surprising amount of damage onto the core, also taking the aggro from the splash damage away for at least a little bit of time, giving Uther more time to heal. And you could already see that middle lane Tetcher was pressured by the catapults, and their core was already taking damage. So if that attack had failed, it would have been lights out almost 100%.
Very true. They knew they were trading damage here, so they had to make the split-second decision. If they had wanted to go back, they should have done it way earlier. They were committed, but it did work. A really solid team fight coming in here. So much crowd control, able to blow up Molly so without too much difficulty. Molly did spend most of the time in that fight in the Aegis, so didn't even get the full damage output out. So well played once again.
Yeah, and you have to wonder... Ariel was picked before Jaina in the draft, so you can't really blame the pick too much in terms of how it deals with the Jaina, but you can blame the pick in general, because Ariel unfortunately was the wrong support to deal with Jaina, because time and time, as we said earlier, we saw the Crystal Aegis actually sealing the fate of the target inside, because Jaina had all the time in the world to drop a Blizzard and a Cone of Cold and lights out for the target then. So a little bit unfortunate turn of events here for Sower in terms of drafting and gameplay, but we're going to take a look at those statistics, and I'm curious to see, by the way, 20 plus kills on average. We did it, China.
Yep, we did it.
And I'm curious to see, Tetra, who's going to become our MVP. I think I have my favorite already.
I assume you're going for Jaina?
Either Jaina or Justia on that Dehaka. I think
I was also going to go for Justia. I think Justia is did an absolutely fantastic job, did everything he needed to. Most of his tongues landed. He didn't get caught out much. It's Justia. Well deserved.
Nice.
1 and 13. He did his job well. And 32% of his team's experience.
And that he did. I mean, yeah, the soaking was absolutely crazy, that's for sure. And the amount of plays he made was just astounding to me. Like, he always seemed to find a good grip onto the enemy team. He came from behind, from the sides. He was just such a menace for Sower to deal with. Didn't look too good in the early game, but once again, the early game is oftentimes where you can allow to make mistakes. Similar to heroes like Stitches or, excuse me, or a Garrosh. As long as you land one combo in the late game that can decide the game, you're good. If you miss a couple of combos before that, you're still in the game and win it after all, you know, it's all good.
Very true indeed. Also, I like the sweater underneath the team shirt there. Very styling. But Sunny